Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Jess Marshall Podcast. This week, I've got fitness influencer and entrepreneur extraordinaire Jason Moritz Sebastian on the show. We are going to talk about everything from entrepreneurship to fatherhood to defeating adversity as well as depression. I hope you enjoy the podcast, and I think you will. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Jess Marshall Podcast. Wow. Mark that swipe. Bring it. The music while you're working out thing is something I think I probably got away from that like about 8 years ago. I started listening to YouTube clips. YouTube's a bitch because it won't play in the background.
And then it's got ads going every once in a while.
And you're trying to like really crank, and then you got to reach over, and I'm like, I don't want to hear about Liberty Mutual again. Yeah, fucking hey. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it depends on the workout too.
I might not work out as hard as you.
So
I do weird shit though. I like drag weight plates across.
I'm all for anything. Training is I live for it. I'll go train with anybody anytime to do any different type of workout. I love it.
Let's throw down one day.
Whenever you want, man.
Okay.
We got a super cool gym that we just built out in our garage.
Oh yeah.
We moved it from, we had an extra living room and we moved it to the gym, to the garage. Now it's like a sweat box this time of year, but
that's what I do.
I just worked out right before I came here. It's like 102 degrees in there and just
humid as
do whatever. Yeah.
You can drop like 7-8 pounds of water weight when you're in there. Just going.
You gotta drink it back after for sure. Yeah. This probably isn't what you want to drink post workout, but you know.
I mean, there's some sodium and some electrolytes in that thing, man. You're good to go.
Some carbs.
Have you always been a workout warrior? Has that always been something you've gravitated towards since you were young?
I do it for more mental health than I do for like physical appearance, which, I mean, the physical appearance part is nice. Like, it helps, you feel more confident. But
sure.
I battled depression since I was 6, and it has been just it's my go-to. When I'm feeling down, when I can't get out of it, like, I got to get in the gym. Like, that gets my endorphins and serotonin and all that going and just pulls me out of that state. So I've just created a habit of doing it every day, and sometimes, or most of the times, it's twice a day. I'll do cardio first thing in the morning, fasted, and then go back and lift later. But that's like
your best medicine.
Yeah, that's my therapy, man. That is my therapy. I won't do like the prescription Prozac or any of that. I've been prescribed and begged to take it. My dad runs a $100 million
take this pile
company.
of SSRIs.
Yeah, take this.
Yeah,
and just mask it all.
That's right.
Yeah, they just big pharma. That's a whole nother.
That could be a whole nother 2-hour dealio in the future, man.
It really is. That drives me nuts. But that's a space that we're getting pretty heavily into, kind of the proactive medicine, anti-aging, peptides, stuff like that.
Awesome.
So I'm on HRT peptides. I swear by it now. I just got my blood work done 2 days ago, making sure that I'm all right. But
you do any food sensitivity tests when you do the blood work?
I've done it in the past.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of food out. I know what I process well. Like, I know I don't process fats. I process carbs really well. Don't have anything else that really throws me off, but I've taken it. I'm somewhat dialed in there, but nothing that I really need to worry about too much.
It's interesting stuff. I'm doing one because I had a guy on. I'm familiar with people who've battled, couldn't figure out, like, breaking out, like, in their 30s, what's going on, and it would end up that they had either like the celiac gene or they had a gluten insensitivity that came on after, like, their body was fully mature. So they're like eating pasta when they're 19, no problem.
Yeah.
Then they're eating pasta when they're 29, break out everywhere. What the fuck's going on?
Body just doesn't process things.
It's weird.
The same.
Yeah.
That's why
our bodies are changing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you know when you were 6 years old that you were?
I was told. That's how that goes. The doctor tells you. Well, I went through like trauma, I guess, at an early age. Parents got divorced.
Gotcha.
Thought it was like the perfect family. Parents get divorced, and then they're like, "Oh, he's depressed," and I for sure am. Like, if you've never battled depression, it's a son of a bitch. It is. I mean, we can get it. We can go all down that rabbit hole. But that's when I was declared depressed because of just how I was responding to them breaking up, and at that point they did put me on like counseling, therapy, meds, like the works. I mean, I was too young to really know. Like, okay, whatever. I was ADHD. I knew the Ritalin helped kind of tone me down from bouncing off the walls, breaking everything, getting in all sorts of trouble. But that's when depression was declared, and so I've just been battling.
Was it
ever
like
since.
Michael Scott on The Office? I declare
bankruptcy. It's not how it works.
I don't think that I like I said, I got some years on you. I don't think I really knew what was going on until I was like 12, and I would wake up and just be like, I'm just not into this.
So are you depressed?
Oh yeah, 100%. Bad. That's been a big battle. That's why when I reached out, I was like, let's chop it up, because men don't talk about it very often.
Oh, they don't.
It's this
weakness.
That's right.
It's weakness.
You got to suck it up, Jason. Come on, just bring it. Let's go.
Just be quiet.
Just be quiet.
Keep that under the rug.
Endure. And when you wake up in the morning and you're like, man, if I wouldn't have woke up today, I'd be all right with that. That's a problem.
Yeah. Or like you're like, it just feels better to not deal with anything, to stay here in bed, to like, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to deal with that. Like, it's crazy. It's crippling. Like when it comes on, and it comes on for no reason sometimes. Like people say that, it's caused by this or that or the other. No, it's not. Like there's birthdays that I've not gone to my own party just because I've been in that. That wave comes on, you just don't want to be around anyone, don't want to do nothing. It's a son of a bitch, man.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Now that I know that you've dealt with it, you have an understanding of what that's like.
I do, big time.
But yeah, that's how I got into. Long answer short, that's how I got into my love for working out, fitness. All of that was, necessity.
Sure.
Like changing my mindset.
Yeah.
So found something that worked, that wasn't drugs, alcohol, women, which is what I relied on for a long time, and lived my life in a very, I don't even know what word describes it, not healthy manner, but a lot of fun. But the change that I needed to make was get into the gym to handle it in a more productive manner. So it is now like my new addiction, I guess.
That's cool. Yeah,
it's a good addiction though.
Yeah, you if you have an addictive personality, just tend toward the good ones.
The good ones.
Like being productive, being in shape. That's
Working,
the best way.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I find that to be the best way, the best path forward for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I'm like overly addictive personality. I'm around marijuana a lot. I used to smoke a lot, but I could stop like that. Alcohol could stop like that. 8 months, cold turkey, no problem. So not addictive personality in that sense, but to some things for sure I am, but not like to a substance.
Yeah.
But
the battle then, when you figure that out, or you're declared that when you're young, was there a real mental battle for you through high school? High school is a fucking battleground for a lot of young boys as they start to become young men. Was high school a tough road to hoe for you?
So it led back. Sports kind of kept me. I was always, pretty athletic in every different sport you could possibly be in, and that keeps you like engaged and busy and out of trouble. So you don't even have time to think about it. You're always in a practice. You're always working out, and your serotonin, the competition, the camaraderie, whatever is all there. Well, my sophomore year in high school, I think I was going to be the captain of the soccer team. One of my buddies was always injured. Like, this is my best friend. He was playing, and the coach was like, hey, he's not going to be on the team this year. And I was like, well, if he's not going to be if you can't let him on the team, I'm not playing. And that was like the downfall for me, like falling off the cliff of just like, that's when I had all the free time in the world. I stopped all sports at that point, like an idiot. And I was pretty decent. And that's when I really started battling it. Before then, I didn't have time because I was constantly engaged in activity, which is like the best way to deal with, a lot of that stuff.
It is.
Even today is
Take action.
Don't go down that rabbit hole of thinking about it, and like you become overwhelmed if you do that. But that's when I let all that kind of sink in, and that's when I started battling it. I got to the point that I wasn't even going to school anymore, off smoking or doing whatever during the day, and ended up dropping out of school. And my family was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So,
not going to fly.
Yeah, got sent to a lockdown in Sacramento.
Well, hell yeah.
They, that was, or Redding, north of Sacramento. Sacramento is the place that most people are
What, like a reform school type deal?
It was something special. I'll tell you, we were there. They do therapy like once a day. You do group sessions once a week. I think we were busting rocks. I mean, you name it. Like
dig a hole, fill the hole back up type bullshit.
Like just busy work, like just putting you to work. And a couple of us got the bright idea, like we saw, you know, if you were really bad, you got sent to wilderness. So you go to wilderness for 6 weeks, and they weren't. So then the kids aren't on property. They go to another program, and the parents then aren't paying the school, and so it hurts them financially. And we kind of put it together. We were like, well, if people keep going to wilderness and they don't have any new kids coming in, they can't stay afloat. This is like a pretty high-dollar operation they're running here in the middle of nowhere. So we led like a mass refusal, and we shut this damn thing down after like 2 weeks of the kids refusing because they were sending people off to wilderness, and then they had like no kids, and the kids that were there weren't doing anything, and so the parents were like, all right, we got to get them out of there, and so the thing ended up getting shut down. I was like, oh, I'm going home. No, I got sent to Atlanta to another one.
Oh my God.
Same kind of deal, but just better funded, better operation. Weren't going to allow that to happen. And
no revolts or mutinies
No. Yeah, they own their own wilderness program. They were smart, so they had a wilderness program right across the river.
So they could just outsource you and be like, we're still making money, bitch.
I spent some time there for sure, but
did you grow up as an outdoorsman at all?
I went hunting, fishing a lot with my dad. At that point in my life, I really enjoyed that. Now I'm an animal lover, love guns. Just don't necessarily love guns and animals to the same extent that I did. I would hunt if I had to.
Did those wilderness programs make you resent nature and being out in it, or were you like,
no, I loved it.
This is badass.
I actually liked it.
No barracks, no mess hall, none of that bullshit.
Yeah,
we're out here.
MREs, camping, just living off the land, whatever. Yeah, we do search and rescue training. We did all sorts of like military stuff. A lot of the people were like former military or whatever, but it was actually a really cool experience for me. I was like, oh, I'd much rather do this and sit in therapy for, or an hour a day or locked
regular
up,
high school.
Whatever. Yeah, going to class. Forget that. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed that. Now that you mention it, it's been a while since I thought about it. But yeah, so they make you like think about your feelings and like that's why I just have such a bad taste about therapy. Even when you're going to couples therapy or whatever to work on things, it's anyways.
Yeah.
Went on a tangent there, but
bro,
you're starting to hear my life story.
No, I'm right there with you on that counseling thing. Everybody's in business, right? So when I was growing up, I didn't really realize that. I grew up in the church. My dad's a preacher. So, I saw certain groups of people as like different from everybody else, right? Doctors, different. Politicians, different. Preachers and teachers, different. Counselors, different. But then when you become an adult, you're like, nah, everybody's got a hustle going, bro. Yep. So like if you're making progress in therapy, man, they're not going to tell you you're good to go, man.
You're good. No. You're a patient for life.
I'm backing you off to, I'll see you twice a year now. We're good. No, man. It's once a week. And then if anything gets a little too dark, no, I got to see you twice this next week.
See, it's working. That's why we don't want to stop this, is because it's business. Same thing with medication. They don't ever want you to get off the medication. Once you're a customer, they want you a customer for life. They're not trying to get you better. They're trying to get you as another reoccurring revenue piece to their machine.
They want subscriber numbers. Mm-hmm. And then they can then they can double down, they can refinance, they can pull lines of credit because they got you just, going back like a
consistent revenue right here.
Yeah, it's the real tough truth about like our actual real health and wellness.
It's scary.
Yeah. And enraging.
Oh, it is. It's very frustrating.
It's one of those things where when you step back and you actually take a look and your eyes are opened, you're like, well, I mean, I can just keep going with the flow, or I can try to make changes like on my level, things that I know will work for me. Like for me, going and talking about my problems for an hour, not only do I not want to do it, I don't think it works. So are there other things that I could do? Are there other things that you explored other than counseling and all that bullshit?
Oh, compartmentalizing for sure. No, but that's not. But that's how I dealt with everything. I'm just like, oh, I'm good. I just tell myself I'm good.
I'll deal with that later.
I'll deal with it later. We'll talk. I don't want to talk about this. That's how. Whenever like me and Paige get into a fight, it's always like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. I'll just shut off. We'll talk about this later. Let's talk about it later.
Yeah.
She's like, you always do this. It never goes anywhere. But trying to think of what else. I mean, I've tried all sorts of techniques, or removing yourself from the situation, or taking your deep breaths, or
do you meditate?
I don't. I haven't gotten into that. I probably should. People swear by it.
I've tried Troy
doing...
Aikman swears by it.
Really?
He says 30 minutes silent every morning, no matter what, and it's changed his life. And I'm like, well, what needed changing, bro?
Yeah,
but
right,
he swears by it. I know that. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do. A lot of people that's how they start their day, and they'll do their cold plunge, they'll do their I know that's a whole thing right now. I guess someone's making a lot of money off of that.
It's out of control. Just get a couch off, put a hose in there, and dump some ice, and you're good. And we got all these that close and purify and mix, and
it's ready in this amount of time.
Yeah, it's like it's like frozen margarita ice. You get in, it's perfect. You're just get in some cold shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak too negatively on all the cold stuff because we do, or we're partners in Cryo, so we own cryotherapy centers across the nation and swear by that. I mean, it definitely helps, but I haven't gotten into the cold plunge stuff yet.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people that swear by
meditating.
I mean, just I guess you're reflecting and thinking on what you should. I mean, I guess I do that. I stay in the shower. I stand in the shower by myself and think all the time for
when you're
excess.
Working out, you're not talking to probably anybody. You're just going hard, right? You're listening to music. You're dialed in. And you're just going. You're pushing yourself.
It's kind of meditation.
That's a meditation.
Self-meditation, yeah.
I don't know if meditation for me has ever been. I'm not big into it, but I've yeah. You float or whatever. Transcendental meditation. You levitate. I don't know if it was ever like really reflecting on anything. It was more like once I got to this place where I could clear my mind and I didn't have those racing thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, what if I did that? Yeah.
Exactly.
Like trying to go to bed at night that time?
Yeah. I'm a big list guy. So I have just lists on lists on half the time my hand. Like, I'm surprised it didn't today, but it was raining, and I had to get off a roof and dry off to come meet you.
That's what you do? You write it all here?
I do, in blue ink. Blue ink comes off the hardest.
Do you have an Apple phone?
I do, man.
You know they got notes in there.
I do, bro.
You can just...
I got lists on lists in there, too.
Okay, pages.
This is like my stuff you can't... I can't go to bed if this ain't done.
If this isn't done, this is my blood list. Like I can't cross this off until it's done, and I got to look at it forever until it is. Okay.
I used to have stuff written on there like all the way down and up here. Well, so there you go.
Yeah, I see something.
There, yeah. And before rugby practice, because I knew I was going to sweat it off, I'd just take a shot of it with my phone. That's like how. It's just one of those things because I drive a lot for work, so blue
You're
pen.
Always looking at it.
Yeah. I used to write it on with a dry erase on my mirror, my driver's windshield right there. Just like a list down there.
What kind of construction? Roofing?
Do a lot of roofing.
Okay.
Yeah. Do a lot of like restoration work. So if you get hit by, wind, hail, flood, fire, tornado.
Well, I got a lot of buddies in those businesses.
Yeah,
they do pretty well. It's good
there's
business.
There's only a few of us in Dallas. There's like 9,000 roofing companies in Dallas.
They all moved here pretty quick. I have friends from Colorado that moved down here, and they're in Austin, and they're all over. But
did you guys get touched at all by that tornado that came through in 2019, or had you not bought that property?
No,
yet?
We were in the property. We were remodeling the property then, if I recall. Putting on we were doing all the things. We were doing everything. We were doing the outside. We were doing the roof. You name it. I've got a little bit of a construction background myself. Nice. My dad runs probably one of the more prestigious residential home building companies in probably the country. So I've worked with him a little bit, but then got into flipping and renovating myself outside of what he does because his price point is just crazy. Like $2,000, $3,000 a foot. It's just like, what? He's like, I can't even do this for that. No, I'm like, all right, I got to go do this on my own. Yeah. My friends can't afford this, so who am I going to market to?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't think we got touched by that tornado though.
Because I had a flip.
We had some wind, but
real close to where y'all are at. Because I mean, it drilled that Home Depot. That's like 5 minutes from your front door. Mm-hmm. That was like 7 minutes from my flip front door. So that day after the tornado, I'm like, the fuck. It took me to get there from Richardson. So this is at like Hillcrest and Walnut Hill, like right in Preston Hollow.
Oh, yeah. Great
flip, was going to be the shit. I had to go all the way down around White Rock Lake to come back up. It took me 2 hours because everything was down. Everyone was a war zone over there. Literally missed us by 2 streets, man. It's crazy.
That's why. So I didn't even know that Home Depot got hammered. And I was like, why is this Home Depot not open. Like, because the whole time I'm doing my I just wasn't
right
even
up
aware.
the gut, man.
Wasn't even aware.
Right between
I drove by and they're like, they're
landscaping.
renovating? Why are they renovating in a not efficient manner where the store's still open? I'd have to drive over to the one on
Skillman and Abrams.
Every time. But well, that explains everything.
And it knocked down that Lutheran school that was just east of that too. Obviously drilled Brian Adams on Walnut Hill pretty good. And
yeah, our country club right there lost, like, I don't even know, like hundreds of trees.
I bet.
Reshaped our entire, for the better. I like it better.
Do you?
I like playing multiple fairways sometimes. You know, driver gets a little loosey, but anyway. But yeah, so it came through that whole area. Now that makes a lot more sense on why that Home Depot is never open.
That was a crazy tornado. There's still houses on Royal, Walnut, Hillcrest that aren't even done yet, man, and it's almost the end of 2022.
Yeah, 3 years later.
That goes to show you, man, those insurance companies are there's some wily bastards. You got to watch out right there, man.
It's a good thing to tap into if you've got the right connections and people that you can make sure are paying stuff out. But yeah, I've heard some horror stories too.
They're not on your side.
Yeah,
you're just a number to them too.
Oh yeah, we know. We got robbed when we first moved into our house. Someone broke in. We had the cameras up, but our the Wi-Fi took forever to come out. Maybe it might have been AT&T. We're not with them anymore, whoever it was. But yeah. So
I hate you, AT&T, and you can go fuck yourself.
So we still use them for some other stuff, but there's a lot of reluctant. Anyway, but so someone broke in. They loaded up all of our goods into her G-Wagon, stole the G-Wagon with all the goods in it, and drove out the door. They took like $200-something worth of stuff plus the car.
Electronics.
Oh, yeah.
Just everything.
You name it. Jewelry, bunch of watches, wedding ring, like you name it. Everything. And so then we had to go into that battle with insurance. And boy, let me tell you, that was a full-time job for me for like 3 months, dealing with the insurance to make sure that we got at least like a good amount of the money back. And then like I missed one of the like supplementals by like a day for like a pretty high ticket item too. It's like 10, 12 grand, something like that. And they're like, oh no, you missed it. That was due yesterday. I was like, you can't work
Take
with
that
me.
thing to appraisal,
One day, it's
man.
been COVID. It's COVID. Like, how are you supposed to spend?
They're blaming everything on COVID. Why can't you blame
Why
stuff
can't
on
we
COVID?
get a little bit of an extension one day?
Would you, if you were gonna give people advice, would you advise them to go through every few months just with their phone and just take a video, just document all their belongings?
100%,
man. I tell people that all the time.
And then if you have nice jewelry, everything has to be itemized. You need to go through and be like, hey, I have this. And a lot of the times they're going to make you pay like a premium or like a separate jewelry policy or whatever. But they will not cover anything. Like we have, probably like $60,000 worth of stuff that wasn't itemized, watches and whatnot.
Right.
And they're like, here's $1,000 because that's the maximum for that category.
Did you,
because you didn't itemize. And
did you have appraisals on those?
The ones that we didn't have appraisals on,
those are the ones they stung you
anything
on.
that I had an appraisal, I sent in and got itemized in a separate policy for, or it fit under, the jewelry policy.
Right.
But yeah, no, that was a
well,
hard
and I
pill to
know
swallow right after you move in.
I know if you've got a good jeweler, who knows he's putting his kids through college because of you or whatever. There's two in town. What's up, guys? How's it going?
I've got some good jewelers.
You
too.
can take
Swiss
stuff
Connection
in there to them, and they'll rip off like a full on. They'll appraise everything, itemize the whole thing for you, and just email you a PDF. So if you have that digitally, These are the things though that we find out after somebody. You
got to go through the hard lessons to learn what you're supposed to be doing in life.
What did that do to your depression? Going through something like that.
For me, it was just another how can we turn? I try to look at it a positive light. Like, okay, how can we turn this into a positive? A lot of that stuff we are never going to use again, or like we never use this, so this gives us a chance to get new stuff or whatever. Try to spin it in a positive light. For her, it was more of a safety deal. Like someone was in our house. I was like, yeah, we got a bunch of guns now. Like no one's going to, if we're home, no one wants to come into that house.
Please try.
And I got a German Shepherd trained in personal protection that, we're good. You don't need to worry about that. And she was like, yeah, but it's just unnerving. So for her, it was kind of more of like we're good now, how many years removed, but it was more of that we had to get through. She just felt so uncomfortable and like, are they coming back? Do they have the keys? Do they have everything was changed and whatnot? But just sucks to have to go through. But
well, everybody's on the take, man. You know, you kind of have to have your head on. Do you really? Maybe somebody who was involved in some of the construction. Been there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Appliance day. That's the day when I usually park one of my guys in a flip, and I'm like, "You're camping out for the next 3 weeks till we got all the power and everything on."
Yeah.
There's a porta potty in the back. We got a hose. $100 a night. And if anybody comes through those doors and tries to steal that Viking, gas stovetop, I want you to absolutely put a hole.
Either a hole in them or put the fear of God in them.
Cut some daylight into
whatever
that
you need to do,
motherfucker.
whatever you're more comfortable with.
We had one. Well, that one that was close to that tornado. Appliances go in. Guy was camping out. Hey, I got my kid. Okay. Literally that night, they tried to go in, steal him, go out the back, but the fence and the gate were 12 feet tall, the sliding gate. They couldn't get it up and over, so everything ended up. So I was like, okay, I'll go down there and check it out.
It's like all in the backyard.
Oh, I was for sure strapped, and I walked in, and sure enough, like, come on, guys. Like, how stupid do you think that I am? Like, y'all knew what night. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, the one guy's like, "Oh, my kid." Yeah, you're like, "Okay, all right." The one night you're not there, it just happens to go down, huh?
Like within 90 minutes. Yeah, I was born at night, but not last night.
Yeah, it wasn't last night. I've been trying to figure out how that saying's going. I was trying to use that the other day, and I was like, "How does that go?" I'm gonna sound stupid if I say it wrong.
I'm telling you, man, the amount of peril and chaos involved in just construction altogether, especially over the last 2.5 years, because it was essential. So we could keep working.
Yeah.
But, bro, like, if you tried to go flip a house right now and you ordered windows, it'd be next June before you got your window package.
Yeah, you'd be sitting on that house for about a year and a half.
It's insane. Or I got a buddy works for a builder out in Tarrant County, and they've got like 40 of them closed, ready to fund. People that, like, get us to the closing table, but they can't get ACs in there. They're missing like 2 components.
Really?
It's insanity.
Just like some small little off-the-wall piece.
Supply chain BS, because some chip they're missing. They can't run the AC, and what's 100 degrees for 100 straight days in DFW.
Oh yeah.
You can't move in a house that doesn't have climate controlling.
I wouldn't close on that house anyway.
No.
If that AC's not working.
No, and I wouldn't buy a new house now, no matter what. I'd be like, I'm going to get a third and a fourth party inspector in here before I close on this thing.
Make sure it's all running right.
Yeah, it's going to be like when vehicles start rolling off the lot in a month. Because nobody's got vehicles, right?
Yeah.
GM starts rolling those Tahoes off the lot. I don't think I'd buy the first.
Well, at least you've got some sort of you've got a better warranty with a vehicle than I feel like you do with a house.
You only get 1 year on most homes.
Yeah, and even then, it's not even I feel like it's not really comprehensive. Whereas a vehicle, like, you're going back to that dealership and they don't want to look bad. I've been in the car. Spent 10 years in the car business. My family's big in the car business, so I know this. I've sold all the warranties and stuff like that. You're at least good in those first 2 or 3 years, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But it is a little unnerving. Our lot has 0 cars out of the Chevy store in Fort Worth. You got there, it's like a ghost town.
It's crazy.
But they're still not struggling because anything that comes in is sold.
Right.
You're pre-selling everything. So it's interesting times.
You've got an interesting background in terms of, your dad's an entrepreneur. You're obviously an entrepreneur. Was that just something that growing up that was commonplace to you, so it was just natural?
Well, so my dad's dad actually started their company. My dad went into architecture to then work for another part of his dad's company, and then he just kind of he took it to a whole nother level. I mean, he's worked with a lot of people that he's learned from to kind of narrow his focus and become really good at one thing, which I'm starting to learn. I've spray shoot and not focus on one thing, and nothing's great. Whereas, he focused all of his energy and efforts into becoming the greatest at this right here, and just stayed in that lane, and it's done really, really well for him the past probably 5 years since he started doing that. But yeah, I've grown up around a lot of successful people. I've been a lot of really successful friends that I've gotten the benefit to learn from, and then I've made a lot of really poor decisions in business over probably 15 years. that I've also gotten to learn from. So, I mean, some of the best learning tools are the mistakes that you've made in the past and going through something and like, okay, definitely don't do it this way if you're going to do it. So I've always been fascinated by creating something new and not working for someone else. So entrepreneurial spirit's always been there. And I've never wanted to kind of rely on, you know, the success of my family to, I don't know, pay for my living.
Sure.
So even through college, you know, wanted to find something, whatever that might have been, to kind of have something of my own. But
sure. What are some of those lessons, those tough lessons that you've learned? And did any of them have to do with hiring the wrong people, trusting the wrong people, putting the wrong people in the wrong positions?
Wrong partners, wrong people in the wrong positions, lack of just dedication to a project. I think that's like one of the biggest. I mean, if I could tell you anything, like don't ever go into something passively and then get mad when it doesn't work if you're not putting your energy and effort and giving it the attention that it needs. Like if you're going to invest in something and that money means something to you, then I would be putting the time and energy to show that money means something to you, and don't just sit there and let someone else be at the realm or be at the helm of controlling your money and your investment. So
was that some maybe came with some youth? Like, I'm going to invest in this. It sounds great. It's going to be kind of a fix it and forget it. Like, I'm going to invest and I can just check back.
I'll just get I'll just get checks in the mail. They'll handle everything.
Right. But then before that happens, you know, everybody's on the take and you've got fires to put out, that type of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, my marijuana business up in Oregon, you know, it was supposed to be a passive investment. We were building a massive hemp company at the time, and wanted to also get into the other side of the plant, which was marijuana, and invest in this, you know, big farm up in Oregon, had all this upside, and it just, we put a ton of money into it and then checked on it in about a year later, and it was just, they were asking for more money, started looking into it, just being grossly mismanaged, and had to take the thing over with like $100,000 in debt. And this was just supposed to be passive income for me that I invested in.
Sure.
And it became a full-time headache that I had to take over, along with this other business that we were building up that was doing great at the time. So, you know, definitely if you're going to like invest in something, or especially if you don't just have unlimited amount of money to invest in it, like, oh, well, if it works, it works. Like, okay, if you got that kind of money, then don't worry about it. But if that money matters to you, make sure you're putting the time and effort to like grow that business and to focus on that business. Don't just scatter shoot and just think that they're all going to work. That's the biggest lesson learned for me. I just started 5 or 6 things all at the same time. None of them got full-time attention, and they all got just about that amount of success. You know, they didn't ever, the only one that I was working full-time on, you know, 14 hours a day, busting my ass, involved in the business every day, like that thing became a $300 million company. And, you know, all the other ones just just sat stagnant because you're not putting your attention and effort into it. So,
The diverting your attention, you know, you hear a lot of gurus talking about you got to have all these multiple streams of income. Especially young dudes think this is the way. Yeah, I'm gonna have this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna roof houses, then I'm gonna flip houses, then I'm gonna do this over here, then I'm gonna, and before they know it, their story is very similar to yours, very similar to mine, where there's only one of me, there's only one of you, and if I'm the one who needs to be making the call, and I got to be answering 5 different phones, there's only 24 hours in the day. Yeah. And unfortunately, my experience has been that finding good people is just a hell of a challenge.
It really is. But to touch on what you're saying, it's doable, but you've got to put the attention and the effort in up front to build the systems and the processes that you can turn over to the good people. And then at that point, you know, it can become more of a passive income. And that's something that we're trying to focus on now a lot in what we do, because we're involved in so much. And every project, you know, that we're involved in to the same degree doesn't get the attention that it probably should to blow up. Like if we focused on just one thing, you know, whether it's the app that we've got going, whether it's, you know, the apparel line, whatever it is, like it would blow up if we just focused on that. but it's because we don't have the right systems in place where someone else can run it and you don't have to be involved every day. And that's what people aren't doing. Like, there's only one of you that can make those decisions. But if you have the right system for someone else that is a good person that can follow directions, is trustworthy, or, you know, fits that role and can insert and keep things running in your absence, then you've got, you know, that perpetual residual income that doesn't involve your attention every day.
So if you went back to when you started all 5 of those things all at one time, would you go back and just do one, get it going, do another, get it going? Is that what you would do?
Yeah, and I would stay, well, I would have stayed a lot more in real estate and construction. I got away from that off of fancy, or not fancy, but shiny objects that had more upside.
Right.
If I had just stayed in the real estate lane that I knew proven worked, it was over and over again working for me, instead of chasing shiny objects, shoot, I would have been, you know, right where I need to be.
Was that part of not maybe having like the knowledge and experience in those other verticals?
Definitely.
But you were excited about them, though.
I was excited.
And there's nothing wrong with chasing something you're excited about. Because I mean, there's more to life than just, I mean, when you are banking, it gives you a lot of options, for sure.
And that's the case. When you step away from that thing that's giving you that comfortable place to be able to step into these roles, you better know that this is going to be something you're putting all your attention and effort to. Yeah. So, yeah, but that just came with learned experience. I mean, I probably should have. I have some great mentors now that are around me that I can reach out to and talk to. I just never leaned on them like I probably should have during that time.
That's a dude thing. That's a guy thing.
Oh yeah, pride.
Just like not talking about depression.
I don't want your help. I got this.
Yeah, or just picking up the phone and going, look, this is happening. I've never been through this. Have you ever been through this? And that can't always be your dad. Yeah. You know, sometimes it's got to be somebody else. That's very difficult for me. I've started to do it more and more and found that it's interesting. As I've done it more people have called me. Yeah. Hey, this is happening to me. What did you do in the same position? And I'm like, wow, this is weird. I love taking those calls, by the way. Yeah. I'll talk on those all day long to the detriment of my own income. 100%. Helping people.
I enjoy it. Yeah, I just enjoy helping.
Yeah. And there were times when I would reach out and be kind of embarrassed, and I would just get a cold shoulder. No, man, never dealt with that. And I'm like, what?
You've just always been successful.
You've always crushed it. Yeah. Okay. You've always had the Midas touch. I'm the idiot.
People like that. I guess I'm the idiot. I'm the opposite about everything I touch has been pretty sour outside of like one lane. Just stay in my lane. But
I touch it, it turns inedible. Yeah, I'm like, oh well, throw that away. Yeah.
I have buddies, I guess, they just everything is gold. So I'm same deal.
Those are apparently aren't your probably your like good buddies then, because I've got buddies who will be not a ton of mine are entrepreneurs, but the ones who are will be like, oh yeah. No, you got to hang it. First of all, first rule is don't quit. Second rule is hang the fuck in there, man. Keep it between the ditches, and slap all the bitches, right? I mean, it's this mindset of, I know the only way that I can lose is if I quit. And sometimes that's not very exciting. That's not an exciting way to live life. Like, I just got to hang in there. You know, like Cinderella Man, Russell Crowe, just taking every hit, but just standing there.
I'm going to win in the end. I'm going to win in the end.
It doesn't feel good. Hang in there. Yeah. But riding the waves.
It does. I mean, when training and, I mean, numerous aspects of life, you know, going through it just is making you stronger. So you're learning every step of the way, and that's probably the most important part, is to learn and take something from however the shitty the moment or the situation is, appreciate it and to some degree and learn from it. So
how many parallels do you draw from fitness that you apply to business? Like, in fitness, you're always chasing failure, right? If you're not pushing yourself, you're never growing. And if you're not pushing yourself, you're never failing. The same can be said for business. Like, for me, when I look back, I don't want those years back so I could do it all again. I'm like, man, I wouldn't be where I am right now without that, you know?
Yeah, it's if like you said, if you're not improving, you're dying. Like, if you're not pushing yourself to learn something new, to change every day in some way, shape, or form. You know, for me, it's obviously in the fitness realm more so than it is the business right now. But that's just kind of where my passion and what I'm kind of able to do right now. But it's yeah, I mean, the same thing for business. You got to be like learning from people that have done it and done it well. That's the best way. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Other people are doing it really, really well. You just got to suck up your pride and go pay them, go learn, go study with them, go work under them, whatever it is. Like, that's probably the best way to do it. You know, same thing for fitness. Like, you don't just walk into the gym and you know how to do, like, oh, okay, I know how to get abs. I know how to get, you know, nice toned arms or whatever. Like, you got to learn that. So same thing in business. You got to find someone that, like, you look up to, or that's, you know, doing something that you want to do, and then just go study them, go read what they've done, interview them, whatever it is. You know, they're probably willing to help, you know, because they've probably been through it. They've been where you're at, and that's the best way to learn.
No doubt. Growing up is you have all these people modeling success for you, right? These business people that you were growing up around, friends of yours, probably dads of friends of yours, your own dad. What did you start to notice were like the common denominators with these guys and gals who were successful building their own stuff?
Oh, common denominator.
Were they all up at 5? And
Oh, yeah. They were all
early to bed, early to rise, make
very
some men
disciplined,
healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Good habits, strong family structure. That's important. If you watch most of what the world consumes now, the family structure is trying to be ruined, but that's like the, you know, church and family are kind of what keep everybody grounded and allows the, you know, breadwinner of the house to go and, you know, do what they need to do and focus on work throughout the day, because you got the support system at home, or, you know, you got people to rely on at home. So strong, yeah, they all had strong religious and family values, definitely work ethic and structure in their life. Like, they were very regimented with their routine. Those are probably, and then they all had, like, they were very focused, and they took out the nonsense. I mean, they had their fun when it was time to have fun, but they didn't mix the two.
You could almost say that they really adopted that Viking principle of burning the ships, right? You go all in. You say, this is the direction I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to leave myself a backup plan. And when I get to shore, I'm either going to burn my ships, or I'm going to rip them all to pieces, and I'm going to build bridges out of them, because I'm setting up shop right fucking here, and I'm winning here. And if I don't win here, I'm going to figure out something to do here, but I'm not going back there no matter what. And it's that theme of not going to quit, going to hang in there, going to ride the waves. The discipline thing, though, is interesting, right? Because it seems like the most successful people that I've observed, they really line up with that axiom from Thomas Jefferson. The harder I work, the luckier I get. It just sort of happens. They get up, they get after it. There's a consistency to it. There's not this flash in the pan. Even when they start something new, they start and they're pacing themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I get really excited at the beginning of something, and I'm like, well, let's go. And the first mile is a sprint.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then you're standing there and you're breathing. You're going,
it's getting a little harder. It's getting a little harder. You're getting some resistance.
What did I get myself into?
This is becoming monotonous or whatever it is. Oh, yeah. You just got to, like you said earlier, you just got to keep pushing through that.
What do you think's behind that effort? It's almost a global effort to tear down the family unit. And just the family values, the family unit, the hey, this is your soft place to fall. This is your safe place. There is just, it seems like this concerted underlying current, this effort to just do away with that or make that seem wrong or bad or something. What's up with that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I can speculate. I mean,
what do you speculate?
I don't know. When you remove those strong family systems, you make people very reliant on the authorities that be at that point, rather than having a strong provider of the household or a strong, you know, leadership figure at home. You have to look elsewhere. And then what are you left with? You're left with your celebrities, your media, your politicians, and obviously, you know, for support, especially, you're looking at, you know, the government. And I feel like that's kind of something that they want. The more they can make you rely on them by destroying that family structure and removing that dominant figure that guides your household, you then look for them for guidance, and it just gives them more power, more control, and you become more controllable as a mass. And then they can kind of do what they want.
Yeah,
it's kind of scary, but I can't think of any other reason.
Neither can I.
It's good and evil. It's just simple. Like they hate on the good things that. Like what harm is this doing, having a healthy family or being religious or God-fearing? What's the harm?
Well, that might breed some sort of independence there, some sort of lack of complete dependence on the state for your living. So if I tell you, hey, everybody's got the cold, you can't go outside, you can't go to work, it's going to take 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and then that turns into 2 years, and you lose your job, and you're sitting at home waiting for a stimmy, and maybe you're filling out PPP if you got your own business, but maybe you weren't essential, so you're maybe applying for an SBA too, but then I can get you completely locked in, dialed in, plugged in. Everything I do depends on what you give me. And that dominant figure, the leader, is no longer going out into the field every day to earn a living because everybody's got a cold out there and you got to stay indoors. To me, it seems very intentional. To me, it seems in hindsight and when it was happening. Not one day during the cold did I say, boy, I'm a little afraid today. I'm not going to leave my house. I left my house, whether I had something to do, every fucking day. Every day. Because I was like, you know what? Right here, man. Bring your fear right here to my doorstep, and I'm going to cut daylight into that shit all day long.
So I was about a week behind you. The first week, I was like, okay, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. I was going to the grocery store, washing my hands all the time.
Yeah, Purellin.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is bad. Washing the groceries before you get in the house. We did it. We did it for a week, and then I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
This is like, so many things just don't make sense. And then you start seeing people get it, and you're like, well, they're fine, and they're older and weaker and out of shape and whatever. And
brother, when Uncle Joseph,
we live in the health and wellness space. We are running in tip top condition, like 24/7. It ain't gonna get us.
No.
And so,
hey man, if Chris Christie and Uncle Joe can get it, and it's not going to take them out, then get the fuck out of here with this bullshit.
We're good.
Man. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I think it's not going to be that big of a deal. Did all of that stuff start to affect some of your businesses? Or your ability probably to travel to check on some of them was curbed to a degree?
Yeah, for sure. It affected some parts of our business, but a lot of it actually helped, like especially in some of the stuff she does, the at-home fitness stuff, went through the roof. So, meal preps, deliveries, buying products online kind of seems like it went up. So it really kind of helped her business and then hurt some of the stuff that I might have had going. But then, we kind of focus on a lot of her stuff because it takes precedent anyway. Like my little buddy and farm are all kind of the stepchild of the family because they're, there's just bigger things to worry about at the time.
Fish to fry.
Yeah, which I'm all right with. There's no pride in the household.
You have an apparel line as well?
We're launching that. We've been working on that for about 2 years too, but that should launch by probably the first of the year.
What are the behind the scenes like trying to figure out supply chain? Like, can we get fabric? Can we get thread? Can we get it all assembled? Can we get elastic? What's all that like right now?
I did long lead times for sure, but fortunately we have a really good partner out of Dubai on that has been heading all of that up. We don't even have to worry about it. She'll give us updates like, hey, this is what it's looking like, or it's going to take a while for this, but we personally aren't having to source any of it because we got a good partner on it.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, it definitely has affected all of that and their ability to travel.
Yeah.
What
kind of apparel? Are we talking like the leggings and
athleisure wear? Yeah, a lot of athleisure wear, some t-shirts, hoodies,
because
leggings.
That shit in the last 5-10 years is just nobody wears anything but that nowadays.
That's all I want to wear.
They wear that shit to church half the time. You're at a funeral, you're looking around, you got people in black hoodies in there. You're like, what's up?
I'm guilty. We go to church up north, and it's
where do you go?
Elevate Life.
Oh yeah.
So pretty good message. We're not. I won't go too far into that. Really, it's
I'm very
great
familiar.
Great service. The money aspect always kind of has rubbed me weird with church. I understand tithing. I prefer to give back on our own.
Everybody's got a hustle, brother.
For sure.
And
I don't. Hey, I'm not knocking it because I take away.
Feel you.
I take away from we take away from that what we want, and it's amazing. So we don't get too wrapped up in the tithing and taking the negative view of that.
Yep.
We do our tithing on our own in other ways. Like we help causes that we truly believe in. It's oftentimes not through the church. Sorry, Keith.
Pastor Keith's all right, man.
You're still hey, nothing but good things.
God is good. He's going to take care of Pastor Keith and his thick blood, brother. He's all right.
But yeah, so everyone's got to hustle though.
Yeah. 100% they do. When you're either trying to start something or you have something established and you need to fill a role, what is your process for finding people to fill that role? And are you doing the interview, hire, fire, or do you have input, or do you outsource that, or have you learned that the hard way? What is your preferred process there? Are you kind of still trying to perfect that?
So I have a lot of input from a lot of different people on this, and my dad kind of swears by, he's gotten with this consultant group, and they do personality index tests. We aren't that for our
I don't know
hires.
if those work, man. I've used those for a long time.
For him, they do. He doesn't. If you're not a 95% match for whatever position it is, he's not even considering you.
He's out.
And
you can lie your balls off on those things, though, man.
Well, the one that he has is really it's wild. You're just picking words. Like you don't even know what you're like. You
got no idea how to correlate any of it.
You have no idea how to correlate any, and then it kicks it back and it tells you exactly what. Like I read it and I was like, oh my god, it tells you your weaknesses and your. It's like, and he's like, I would never hire you. I was like, I wouldn't.
Thank you, Dad.
For that role, I wouldn't hire you.
Yeah.
I'm highly entrepreneurial.
I'm not. Yeah.
Trailblazer.
I'm not your quality control manager,
I'm not
brother.
Gonna sit here and read spreadsheets all day. Like that's not me. I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
You're an idea man.
I'm idea blazing. I'll figure out a way from A to B in my own way. I'm not going to follow the path that you're telling me to do. But he swears by those. We don't go into depth in that. If you're business is that large, you probably should look at it, but a lot of it is, I feel like I'm a pretty decent judge of character, and if not, we'll turn it over quick. A lot of our positions aren't like positions that you're putting a ton of money and training into getting people up to speed. We're not that big. But you can throw them right into the boiling water and see what they can do. And if they jump out, then you're like, sayonara, bring on the next one type deal. I do a lot of that too. Yeah. I'm like, this is never going to be easy. A lot of turnover, but
that's the hardest thing to learn, right? Too. Also, you might meet somebody and be like, man, gonna be awesome. And you got conned.
Oh, yeah.
Because the actions don't match the words. Not even close. They're not even in the same county, man.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes it even takes 6 months to find out who that really is. And then you're like, now I got to start all over again. But, yeah, lessons learned. Yeah, I haven't, to be fair, haven't found the exact system for that. I probably should go to the highly detailed personality index and screen and put exactly what we want for this position. But like I said, the positions that we're filling right now aren't,
Well, there's about 1,000 gurus who will take, $2,500 a month from you to tell you how to hire and set up core values and put posters on your wall and shit like that.
Everyone's got to hustle.
That's yeah, they do, don't they?
There's a lot of people on social media.
Everyone has a hustle.
You see it. There's a lot of masterminds out there that people are selling and
bro, how's anybody got time for all of that?
I don't know.
I want to go to a mastermind and say, yeah, thank you all for having me. So if you're scaled up and you're crushing it and everything's working for you, you can go ahead and leave the room.
What do you need?
Right
what do you
now.
need? What do you need?
I'm talking to you, the guy who wants to quit. That's who I'm talking to right now.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, don't quit. And you got to put a plan in place. And you got to do little things. And you got to start building on those little things.
Yeah.
But my God, man, can we get past the, oh yeah, bro. Just got to get a couple people in place, man. We're going to scale up. We're going to get some private lending in here. We're going to sell this bitch off. Like, yeah, do that. But you got to do the little things at the beginning first. And one of those things is
a pretty solid foundation before you can get to that point.
It's amazing how what takes the longest in construction is the thing nobody gives a darn about and nobody hoots and hollers about, right? When you go to build a house, what is the one trade that takes the longest, but it's the most important and the least sexy? It's the foundation.
Yeah.
They go in there, they excavate that thing, they tie the steel, or they run the cabling, they pour it, they water it, let it sit there, you know what I mean? And if that is off, it doesn't matter how pretty the whole thing is.
Yeah, layout's probably your most important.
Yeah.
Double checking that twice. Really, the concrete, sometimes you're just frustrated at how long it takes to get there, but that is like, it's literally the foundation. It needs to be perfect. Everything you're doing is built on that. So I agree there, but there is some frustration with concrete people just not coming in a timely manner. But that's a different...
Bro,
I know.
Who are the toughest trades in your opinion? Plumbers are the toughest, hands down, in mine.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the plumber, they're valuable as hell if they know what they're doing and if they'll pick up the phone and communicate. Concrete guys and plumbers are rough, man.
Yeah.
Rough. 20 calls, ghosted.
Well, not only that, they're in positions where they're getting called for the fires too. Well, at least for the plumbers, like you're getting the calls in the middle of the night, like this is busted, right. Or you're at inspection point and like, hey, this isn't. We need this fixed tomorrow. Like they're always getting like the last minute stuff. Like no one's calling a framing guy in the middle of the night, like, hey, this is wrong.
True.
You know? And
that's true.
So they're also dealing with the most stuff too. I feel like that's
round the clock,
but sometimes they put themselves in that position too.
We've talked a lot about like looking back in terms of like in retrospect, maybe starting 5 things all at one time wasn't the best idea, but isn't there something to be said for just letting it ride and like we're gonna figure it out?
Yeah,
let's roll.
At least try. Don't do nothing, that's for sure.
Yeah,
maybe just not do all of it at once, you know, but at least you're doing it. I mean,
maybe don't make all decisions on 5 Monster Energies in a row.
Yeah,
maybe.
On a couple microdoses, you think you're got a good idea and you're rolling with it.
How's that stuff work for you, man? I've microdosed. And
I microdosed before I came up here.
Did you?
I feel pretty good.
It makes you feel. See, it gives me anxiety a little bit to a degree. The psilocybin does.
A little bit, yeah. So the one that I take mixed with lion's mane and niacin, that helps kind of some of the negative components to it. But yeah, little at first I get that little kind of rush, and then it's focus, clarity.
Is it?
It's yeah.
I was reading a study.
I'm taking a lot of stuff though. Acid used to be like my favorite thing.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Well, what were you seeing when you were dropping the good old acid?
Yeah, it was more of a feeling for me. Yeah,
feeling,
yeah,
really?
It was more just like euphoric feeling and then kind of enlightened like train of thought. I mean,
coming to conclusions,
little bit of vision, little bit of visual stuff, but maybe I wasn't doing that much, but I hit like a level and I would be just in the zone for like, 10, 12 hours.
Really?
But yeah.
Could you be productive?
I don't know about productive. Maybe I thought I was being productive in what I was thinking about or mental or whatever, but it's probably not productive.
I was reading this study about
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, how people who do microdose are really split 50-50. The ones 50% who microdose psilocybin love it, feel a great effect from it, do feel that dialed in.
Yeah.
50% feel maybe more the anxiety, maybe a little like instability, like in their body, just like a little like, whoa, you get up and it's like, whoa. The other 50% who microdose LSD instead, they get that effect the first group got with psilocybin. So they get dialed in.
Oh, yeah.
They feel elevated, deep breath. They feel better. It's interesting.
So, I've microdosed in my terms. As I did it all the time. We'd mix, how many hits in a thing of like high proof alcohol, and you take it as a spray under the tongue or something like that.
Sure.
So what is the and I love that. That's like my favorite, or used to be my favorite thing. This is a while ago. I have a kid now. The times have changed.
I mean,
the ultimate game
psychedelics are a different ball game though than recreational drugs.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, they open your mind.
They
People
really
who
do.
think they're the same just aren't educated. They don't understand that. No, they're not addictive. It's more of a mental deal than anything.
Yeah, it's definitely not addictive. You're not like, oh yeah, I want to go take shrooms again tomorrow. I need to take that. Hell no.
No. It's work,
half the time
man.
You're like, no, I'm good. I'm good on that for a month or 2 months. But
yeah.
I'm curious to see like where that's going on the microdose acid side, because I haven't looked at. It was more for fun back in the day, but that was my favorite. Like it was just very mellow and. Kind of like that enlightenment that I was talking about with actual hits, but it was way less time, and it was just, I don't know, it's just like perfect.
Most of your microdosing now is psilocybin based.
Yeah. Not for fun, but more for just like
it really is
for mood and
I feel like
clarity.
it's work.
It's almost like Ritalin.
Yeah.
but not a pharma product.
There's studies, FDA studies coming out about how microdosing and psilocybin can help folks with bad PTSD. So especially for our military brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. In 1965, they cut off all the research. Terrence and Dennis McKenna kept researching on their own dime or private money, and obviously pioneers. But it's just nuts that something that could have saved so many lives just from the suicide angle of the military folks from PTSD. The government just said, nope, controlled substance, shut down all. We're not researching that anymore.
Well, who does that benefit?
Oh, I don't know, bro.
I don't know. Probably like the biggest industry out there that's got all sorts of shady ties, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
people that want you to get healthy but never really want you to get healthy.
But want to keep you as a customer for the rest of your life.
No, you're just a customer. Well, I mean, that's the problem. That's the same thing, like you were talking about marijuana too. Same deal. Like that industry should be so much more advanced.
Yes.
Hemp, CBD, CBG, right. CBN, all the compounds of that plant have so many benefits that we have no idea. The plant itself can be used for all sorts of textiles and can be used for fuel. Like that's what we're getting into, and a lot of
resistance.
A lot of resistance getting into that space, but yeah, I mean that stuff can be converted to biofuel. Like there should be a lot more research in that sector, but it's been limited. Why?
And the the old school about cannabis, you're never changing those people's minds.
Devil's lettuce and
it was the hippies, man.
Hippies. Don't be a hippie. Don't be.
Yeah, it wasn't Marilyn or Charles Manson. They were always smoking weed, and they all turned into where he was part of experimental studies done on people. So is Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. It's crazy shit, man. Crazy.
Yeah, now you can look at guys like Elon Musk and be like, this is your poster boy for it.
Yeah.
He advocates it, and he's the wealthiest man in the world now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And probably the brightest.
Yeah.
The brightest mind.
Do y'all want to watch a clip of Dennis talking about psilocybin?
Yeah, sure. Dennis McKenna's awesome, man. Very eloquent. How long is it going to take for pot to be legal in Texas? You can answer that after this.
I don't have the answer to that. I wish I did. I mean, I know a lot of people lobbying, but I don't know. I don't know what the holdup is. There's tax money. Everyone wins.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I don't get it. Oklahoma did it. Oklahoma was the last state that
why do you have to go to Oklahoma to get pot and gamble? Right? Texas likes money. We're all about it.
I thought so. I figured that by now, like the whole Houston, Galveston, everything down there would just be lined with casinos and everybody be smoking weed.
What's going down?
I don't know.
I don't understand, man.
Someone's got an agenda.
Seriously. Isn't it a weird dichotomy between Texas loving money and then also liquor stores being closed Sunday, no gambling, all the puritanical?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some law changed recently. You might know this better than me. I'm not a big gambler, but you can play poker and there's legal poker rooms.
Everywhere.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
How's that work?
How do you differentiate? Like, this isn't gambling though.
I don't even get it. Fire it off.
Right,
if it'll
just
fire
watch
up.
some of it. It's
yeah, cool.
Minutes, so.
The hero dose.
Terrence used to talk about the heroic dose.
Yeah.
At some points, he would say that people that talked about psychedelics, his quote-unquote peers, had never taken any large doses, and they were all taking small doses. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing down at La Chorrera, since the supply was there, you probably had the opportunity to take large doses.
We had large doses. Okay. Absolutely. We had ridiculous doses.
Thanks to you and your brother, I had my first psilocybin experience here in this loft, and thanks to Terrence, the number 5 grams was in my ears, and I didn't know what to do, and I think I was on Arrowwood and checking out dosages, and when I went out to pile out what 5 grams looked like, I was terrified. It was a large quantity.
I'd have been terrified too.
Terrence was of the thought of large doses very infrequently. Do them in your house, alone in the dark.
Total darkness. Right. 5 grams.
Right. And so I did something close to that. I couldn't get to 5. I think it was 4.2 or 3.
Yeah.
And so
close enough.
Thanks to you brothers, that we probably accelerated that with the going down there to La Chorrera, the Grower's Guide. that was all accelerated. So thank you for that. How do you feel about dosages, and what were your thoughts?
Well, I think
that's
one
good.
of the things about
that's a great show, London Real. Are you familiar with that? He's a great interviewer, man. He's a really good interviewer, and he has a lot of really interesting folks on. He definitely goes into it with an agenda, less of a discussion style, but
he leads it to where he wants
does.
It to go.
He's got a list, but he's good. It's a good show. Did you find that by using psychedelics, it helped maybe heal your brain? It helped maybe elevate some of those, some of that melancholy, some of the doom and gloom that depression just can be when it's just day in, day out?
For sure, the mood is definitely noticeable. That's the only thing that I could really touch on, is because I know it definitely directly affects my mood.
What about your creativity level?
I mean, I don't know how creative of a person I am. I mean,
How can you say that if you're off starting businesses all over the place?
Well, I guess I think of creativity in the form of art, and I just, I can.
Entrepreneurship is art.
That's true.
You can make your business whatever you want it to to be.
It's true. Okay, from that lens, I can get extremely creative.
Yeah.
To my own detriment, probably. But yeah, I just don't. Creativity, I guess, it opens your mind for sure. You just start thinking about anything and everything, and things start kind of lining up, or you think they do at the time, maybe they don't.
Right.
I don't know. They seem like they.
Do you write anything down?
No, that's a good idea though.
Yeah, or voice notes.
No, because most of the time when you're doing as much as he's talking about, you're on a roof, or you're like you're
just taking it all in.
Yeah, you're just taking it all in.
Taking it all in, bro.
You're not. Yeah, you don't go into it with a pen and a piece of paper, but. You just kind of let it take you where it takes you. But on the micro side, you could, I don't know, you're just more focused. You could definitely, create a list and kind of work through things there. But you're not, I wouldn't say that you're as creative as when you're taking a bunch of it.
Yeah, you're able to carry out your daily tasks when
Yeah.
you're microdosing, which is not the same as when you're taking that much. Have you ever tried ayahuasca?
We've done. I say we. I had a very interesting roommate, brightest guy I know. He's a doctor. He's a lawyer. He's everything now. He just would always dive into everything. But he dove into mescaline, peyote, and started making it all. And so we've taken a lot of that. DMTs. I don't know if the ayahuasca, I think, is the one thing that I haven't done. I have a lot of friends, some friends that just did it recently, that go down to, where did they just
Costa Rica, probably.
Yeah, Costa Rica.
It's
and then
big down
another
there.
place
They got
in
like
Mexico.
centers down there.
Yeah, where you stay down, and then I guess there's a bunch of high-profile people that go down and do this one certain group.
Aaron Rodgers just did it and talked about it on a podcast, and
they all speak really highly of it. I haven't done it. Is it something that we need to do?
Well,
what's your take?
I've done it, and it's very interesting. It's not I can't explain it. I can't really put it into words because it is every sense that it's touching on. But it's very interesting, man. Lots of tears.
You go on your own journey.
You do.
You kind of create your own.
If you just let it take you, then it just takes you. And some of the things maybe in life that were tripping me up, or were like, maybe I was pissed at somebody and didn't want to forgive them. I still don't.
Yeah.
But
it makes you live.
I'm a full-grown man. If you fuck with me, I want to fuck back with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's why revenge movies are the best movies, in my opinion. But
war movies for me, but same deal.
What's the best war movie?
Oh, I don't know. The best war movie, like Braveheart, maybe? I don't know.
Well,
there's an element of
that's
like
the ultimate
the freedom,
fucking revenge movie, right? That's my
true.
favorite movie.
Yeah, it is the ultimate.
Is that your favorite movie?
I don't know. The Patriot's good. I don't know. Why is it all Mel Gibson? That's weird. That's weird.
Gladiators
up there for sure.
Badass.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
There's a bunch like that.
The fuck?
I haven't even thought about that.
Sohail doesn't like Mel Gibson.
I don't know
Well,
why.
I
My
didn't
first
mean
two
to-
were Mel
I didn't
Gibson,
mean
then I
to
started
drop
thinking
that.
about it.
Oh, that was
I
an
meant
accident.
to drop it during the previous sentence. but-
That was perfect timing for hating on Mel.
Do you like Mel Gibson? Do y'all?
I like the movie, and I like the character that he is in the movie.
I've never met the man.
It's not like he's my favorite actor or anything like that.
I think he's a great director.
I think Apocalypto was pretty crazy. That's just
That was him that
just
directed
a
that?
next
Yeah,
level
yeah.
movie.
That movie is wild.
I think Get the Gringo. It's a new one. last 5 years he's put out. Yeah, I like his movies. I don't know the guy. I can't judge on the guy.
Politically stand. I don't know if he falls into the Hollywood,
He doesn't like Jewish people. Apparently, he was raised Catholic. I don't really know. He's from Australia. He must love rugby. That's all I know. Yeah, it's got to, right?
He's played some badass characters, so I don't know.
That's
you can't take that away from him. But
yeah, even the movie Ransom, great movie, awesome movie. Back to creativity and everything. I think that's what we were talking about. Well, just art, the art that is business and entrepreneurship. Do you ever get an idea, but you're like, I gotta table that, man. That's going on the back burner list because I got so much going on right now. Maybe I can't tell my lady about this, or she's gonna think I have two heads because she's gonna be like, "The fuck you talking about? We got way too much going on right now."
Oh, see, well, she says that all the time. She's like, "What? You're always looking at a new venture. You're always thinking about a new venture, talking about this or that, or like, I almost once again to detriment. You're wasting time. You're wasting time and effort by, we should do this or this or this. Like I said, you just got to pick that lane and focus on it. But yeah, all the time. Well, I'm talking about a new venture with someone every day in a text.
You've got an adventuring spirit to you.
I do.
Like
it's been like one of those tests has told me that. Like,
let's take this bitch off road type thing.
I don't stay in one place for long. I've always wanted to move to another city.
What's the deal with that? The moving around.
I don't know. Well,
are you a minimalist? So moving's pretty easy. Like you just need sneakers, a pair of jeans, and a jacket, and you're good to go for a while, or take a bath in the stream and you're fine?
No, I wouldn't say I'm there. I'm not a big camper. I like my luxuries to an extent.
You're more of a glamper?
Glamper? Yeah. You put me in a nice camper across the nation. But we can make that happen. We're actually talking about that right now.
Yeah, you can get a motorhome for $1 million, and those things, bro,
are nice.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can get sponsored by someone to do some content. I don't know.
Some wings on that thing, and you could make it a Learjet. Those things are crazy awesome.
Yeah, my family used to have one way back in the day before they got to the next level.
Getting about 4 miles a gallon on some diesel. Big Peterbilt diesel engine in that bitch.
Yeah, they can't be good on gas, but yeah, we've been talking about that recently. Like, hey, should we go tour some of the cool places and see some of our cool friends all over?
See, wouldn't it be cool to get one of those and go to every game that game day is at on college football Saturday? You just go to that game.
There's people that do that.
I know. Michigan, Ohio State 1 week.
Oh, I'm big
Nebraska,
sports guy.
Iowa 1 week.
I'd be more NFL.
Would you?
Yeah, I've tapped out of college for whatever reason. I don't know, my college has just sucked. I don't know, Texas Tech is not the great. Since we got lost Leach, I don't know, it's just tough.
You know who
I'm
got
an Oregon
Leach?
fan, too.
So you know where Leach went after he left y'all?
Washington State?
Yeah, that's my university.
Oh, really?
So I'm a big
you're
Leach
reaping the
fan.
benefits. There you go.
I know, but then
you're welcome.
He bailed to Mississippi State.
Oh, yeah, now he left you on, huh?
Yeah, and then our coach revolted against getting the shot for the cold, so we had to get rid of him.
Well, hey, good for him.
The state
At least
got
he's standing
rid of
for his principles, which all that's come out great the past week for the people that told.
It's crazy, man.
I was trying to tell you this.
Yeah, you might want to thank your local conspiracy theorist. I don't know, or independent thinker is more what I prefer to call people who don't just buy into the bullshit.
I just like to make my own decisions sometimes,
I always like to say...
I haven't shut it all off to just be controlled by someone else telling me what to do.
Thinking outside the box.
It's tough.
You know what I mean?
It's tough these
Because
days.
whether it's the TV or the phone, everybody's just so dialed into the box.
Oh, yeah.
If they think outside of it at all...
I have the same problem with my daughter at this point. She's not even 3 yet. And, like, once she's... gets on that YouTube Kids or whatever on her iPad, like you can't even get her to look up. You're like, oh my God, it's literally turning people into zombies.
Yeah. And
you see it like we didn't have this. Like you're like, go outside, go dig a
100%.
hole, go eat dirt, go do something.
Yeah.
Go creatively get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Just outside, do something. And now it's just this.
It didn't matter how hot or cold it was outside either.
You're outside till the street lights come on. Go figure it out.
It's been hotter than blazes here since here existed.
Yeah.
And back in the day, kids were out in the street all day, every day, riding bikes, fucking around. And now, it's just screens all over, and we're going to all live in a metaverse in a few years, and nobody's going to know how to talk to each other. That's another reason. You asked me why I started this.
Oh.
To meet cool people who live fearless, do-it-yourself lives,
Yeah.
face to face, within 6 feet. That's why.
Well, you're doing a good job of it. I like what you've done so far.
I appreciate the compliment, but it's a weird deal, right? Because we walk around, we're surrounded by this pervasive fear. It's like fog. It's just everywhere. You walk into it, walk through. You walk in the grocery stores, everyone's got their muzzle on, and you're just looking around, and everyone's just like, I don't know. What's
Tell me what to think.
Yeah,
what
what's
do I think about
Dr. F
this?
gonna say? Yeah. What do y'all think? It's just insanity.
It is.
I don't know if preaching it from the rooftops or the mountaintops is the way. I think more just doing it is the way to make people like,
well, that guy's, he's all right.
I want to start my own thing. He started his own thing.
Yeah.
He's still upright. I'm going to start my own deal.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to pursue this dream. Or I'm going to stand up because I don't think this is right. Or I'm not going to stand up against it. I'm just going to act against it.
I'm just going to do it. Yeah. I'm just going to stay in my lane. I'm going to try and tell as many people as I can to make your own decisions. And, you know, if you don't want to listen, you want to do what you're going to be told to do or whatever it is, that's on you.
Yeah.
But I've tried.
Me too.
I've had a lot of long conversations with a lot of people.
It ain't for lack of trying.
That have not ended, you know, well for them. And, you know, come back a year later and you're like, we talked about this. Like, I tried to tell you. Half my family, oh my gosh, like they just preached some ass stuff for a while. And I came back, I was like,
hate to say I told you so.
This feels good.
How important is it to you in your circle linking up with other like-minded individuals? Like getting around people who maybe y'all don't just co-sign on what each other are saying, but you all understand that there is something to be said for growth and being around other people who want to grow, who don't want to stay stagnant, and who aren't content just swimming around in that stagnant pond of fear.
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, that's kind of that's something that you, if you're struggling in life, that's probably the first thing you need to look around is who you're surrounding yourself with. Because whether you're trying to or not, you're picking up on their habits, their beliefs, and their life views are rubbing off on you every single day. So I think it's super important who you're around and who you choose to surround yourself with, cut out of your life, whatever. That's like probably the most important thing you can do. Even family, like some of your family can even, I mean, mine's not, I have an amazing family. Let me clarify here if any of y'all watch this, but there's some family that can even be toxic to that degree, because if you're around them all the time and they're telling you this, that, and the other, and it's not, in line with your beliefs, eventually someone's beliefs are going to win there.
Yeah,
like they're going to take over and you're going to start, okay, I start to see what you think, and it's.
Was that a struggle for you at any point in your life, getting around better people or away from maybe not so better people?
100%.
Was it?
100%. Oh yeah, I squandered a small fortune with a bunch of knuckleheads that just didn't have the same vision that they probably should have. You surround yourself with bad apples, you start making bad decisions, and you get encouraged to do so, and, they just keep enabling that bad behavior. You're going to be stuck in that position for a while until you reevaluate your circle and what your goals are and where you're trying to be, and remove yourself. So big time. My circle of friends has changed a lot in, 20 years.
And for the better.
Oh yeah.
And you're intentional about it now?
Oh
like,
yeah.
We're going to go hang out with these people and see what they're all about. And if that's not really our lane, then we're just going to.
Cool. We'll be acquaintances.
Right.
Like I'm friendly with everybody. Like I'm a very personable person. I get around and I know a lot of people, but like to be close, like that's you're being judged. But,
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to. I just don't have time to waste anymore. I hardly have time to hang out with the friends that I do have. So, I'm not going to spend it with someone that's going to drag me down or lead me in the wrong direction or encourage bad behavior or whatever that might be. So it's very important.
Is that part of the church thing for you? Is that community, or is that more of a spiritual journey for you? Because you're like I said, you're an adventurer. I'm an adventurer.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, there is something more than this BS that we're all supposed to be hustling so we can get a bigger house and a 10th car or whatever. There's got to be something more.
For sure. Oh yeah. I don't know if it's, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just the people that I've like kind of chose to surround myself with, in the past 10 years, or maybe it's just like I can't put my finger on.
Did you grow up religious?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of forced. I hated it, but now
in church every Sunday type deal.
Oh yeah.
What, down there at the Methodist church?
Oh yeah,
off Mockingbird?
Hyperbaric Methodist,
Really?
United Methodist. Yeah, my family's big in the church still.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I just, I wasn't ready. You got to be ready. It's got to be a decision you make, not someone else.
Well, you got to
get
something out of it too.
Yeah, you also have to. Yeah, exactly. Because if not, you feel like you're just wasting your time, and then your time, I'd rather be elsewhere. And then
a rock didn't need rain, man.
Yeah.
You set the rock in rain, the rain just bounces right off the rock.
Yeah, it needs. Yeah, it has to be open to consuming whatever is being taught. So it took a while for that, and also took her bringing me back around to it. But no, I think it was super important what you were asking. You were say it again. It wasn't spiritual, it wasn't religious that brought me into
more
that
the community,
kind of mindset.
like the being around like-minded people, or is it more? And you're saying it's not really the spiritual journey necessarily.
Yeah, there is some with that, but I think it was more just lessons learned. Just tired of being in a spot that like looking back and reflecting, like God, like why, like. This didn't make me feel good. Like I always, the regret,
repeating
the anxiety,
mistakes.
yeah, just repeating those same mistakes, and you start looking around at like, why am I doing this? Oh, okay, well, I'm being enabled to do this, and taught that it's not taught, but like encouraged.
Do you self-sabotage sometimes? Has that been a thing for you? I do that sometimes. I'm doing really well. I pull out both of my sidearms and I shoot myself in both feet. Put them back.
I'm not a self-sabotager, but I had really bad vices and very bad, like, I could go, I mean, peer pressure was a bad thing for me a while ago, and I would just, once I step off that ledge, it's
rolling with the crowd.
It's rolling with the crowd wherever that goes, and however much it costs, whatever. I was just, let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's not a good place for me.
Sure.
So, but that was also to mask a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with internally too.
Absolutely.
I don't want to feel like this, so I mask it with this, and then this makes me feel good temporarily.
Yeah.
But let's just keep that rolling. Then that stops at some point. It's not healthy.
As you've
and then
started
you got to deal with it again in a worse way.
Sure. And as you've learned those lessons, and instead of being such a follower or along with the crowd, you've started to emerge as a leader. Could you say you could tie a lot of that to becoming a father?
Oh, big time.
Has that changed you? What's that done to you or for you? That's a loaded question right there. I got the full lean back.
Oh yeah, I mean, you just shoot it, hit you with emotions.
There you go, man. That's awesome. That's awesome, brother. That's awesome.
Whew.
That's badass, brother.
That was a.
Did that come out of left field, or was that a planned deal?
Oh, that was definitely not planned, but that was definitely not planned. But I mean, it couldn't have come at a better time. It changes your view on everything. I mean, you become like you can't be selfish anymore.
Because it's just about more than you.
Oh yeah. Do you have kids?
No.
Oh, it's wild. Yeah. Yeah, you have another little person that like relies. Oh, why am I getting emotional about this?
Because it means a lot to you, man. That's rad as fuck. That's awesome. That's the shit right there. That's the shit, man. How I said there's something more. Maybe for you, maybe even for me. That's the something more.
It is.
Or it's part of the something more.
It makes you change all your priorities. You just start, I mean, there's no room for bullshit anymore. You can't, I mean, you got someone that relies on you, especially at this age. Like, they can't do anything on their own, really. I mean, now she's getting a little more, like, self
Just got to keep her off that YouTube for kids, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm, like, mom's out of town right now. She gets back later tonight. She's had her iPad for maybe, like, I don't know, 20 minutes. But she's been gone.
Attaboy.
But mom, she's like in the car. I'm like, no, get it. She's like, yeah, but it gives it. If we go out to eat though, like,
yeah, sure, that's a fail safe, man.
Oh my God,
the screen is
get back, go back in there.
It's a save shot.
She's like under the table doing all sorts of stuff, but yeah, man, it changes all your priorities. It makes you just. I don't know. You want to be a better person because you don't want them to see like you don't want them to grow up and be like, oh, my dad wasn't there, or he was doing this or he's doing that, and then everything you do they emulate, like everything. Like you say a word, in another room. You're like, how did you and she's like, God damn it, motherfucker. You're like, how did you even hear that? You weren't even home then. But I mean, they pick up all your habits. So you want to be a better person in that sense. And then it's just like, you have you have a new purpose. Like your world, that's your world. Like all the other shit doesn't matter. So putting someone else's needs first, I guess, it makes that a priority. So, you know, I might have been selfish, narcissistic, whatever before. Not saying that I might not still be that now, but maybe not to the same extent because I can. Like I have her. I have someone that like looks up to me, relies on me. I don't know.
Loves you unconditionally. It sounds like it's a different experience than if you meet someone who you really vibe with, like a romantic partner.
Yeah.
You really like them. Maybe you've been looking for somebody for a long time. You finally meet this person, but it sounds like having a child is just this almost
another level of love.
Ethereal.
Oh,
It just gets in you type deal.
Oh yeah, it's part of you. It is weird. It's, you know, I mean, I love animals. I've loved dogs. I've loved my family, but I mean, nothing compared. It's a different level of love.
Is there anything from when you were younger, your parents split up, that obviously bummed you out, that you look back at that you're like, I'm changing the narrative on my end. I'm going to do what I can so that my little one doesn't have to go through that type of thing. Does that type of thing go through your mind?
Not so. I mean, my family's still great. I mean, yeah, they just weren't, you know, they were like college sweethearts and, you know, never looked back and they were just too young or whatever. But for Paige and her side of the family, like she went through hell and back. Her family's just, you know, alcoholic, abusive, you name it. Like she split in the foster care system, you name it. She went through all this shit. And so that's like heavy on her. And so it then becomes like important to me because it's so important to her.
Sure.
So I wouldn't say it's necessarily because of my upbringing, but because of her upbringing, that's become very important. Like having the central family, staying together, you know, you chose this path, you fight it out, whatever it takes. That's your partner in life. Like, so from her, yes. From my upbringing, not so much, but because of hers and reflecting on her past, don't want that for her. So
your little one's kind of like your sidekick. Like you've got her with you pretty often.
Yeah, pretty often. She's in school today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Wednesdays, we do like swimming, and we just do like basically because mom's working primarily, and I've got a little more free time on my hand to do whatnot one day a week, and so that's like our day. So we do whatever's coming to mind. But if not, she's in school, and then outside of that, she's like always with us. She travels with us dang near everywhere, which is cool. A blessing and a curse because traveling with kids can be a lot.
Yeah.
But
is she a little wild woman?
Yeah, she's definitely got a lot of the attributes of her mom and dad that aren't, she's fiery.
Yeah.
She's for sure fiery. She's got the fire in her. So
she's got the nomadic adventure in her.
She's got
moving
all
from
the
room to
components.
room in the house.
Oh yeah,
and shit.
Messes everywhere, but energy for days. Doesn't even take a nap. Can stay up till midnight. Wake up at 6 a.m. You're like, what is this girl's got? It's crazy, but yeah, she's got all
into that Diet Mountain Dew all the time.
Yeah,
type deal.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, we try and keep her away from sugar and stuff.
Yeah,
but you can only do so much. They always want fruit snacks and all the unhealthy stuff. That's what they want, and that's the only thing they're going to eat.
No
Sometimes
doubt.
you got to cave to them, but it's wild. They pick up all of your habits. You see yourself in them so much. You're like, oh my gosh, this is.
I bet.
That's mine. Okay.
So you're saying you highly recommend having a child?
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, it's your legacy too. Like it's carrying on your name when you go. So I mean, it's highly important to, have someone to take care of you when you get older too. It's having that reason why, that purpose, waking up every day. I think that's important. Outside of obviously just having the love of, and the opportunity to raise and mold a little human. Like it's cool stuff, man. Carrying
the family name is big to you. Because I asked you, hey, what's your last name? And you said, well, I have two. That's my family name. I carry them both. What's that about?
So, I mean, I just, for whatever reason, I was given my mom's maiden name as well. And
That's very cool. That's a really cool concept.
There's actually no other boys in that have come that carry on that name either. So it's I don't know if I necessarily pass that because, you know, I'm the son of a daughter that carried the name. But I mean, if not, like there's no other boy that's carrying that name, and that's a strong name that, you know, my granddad who passed a year ago yesterday.
Really? Man, my condolences, brother.
But
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Well, yeah, we just did an event for him last night, service and whatnot. But like, who carries on that name for him? So.
I love it, man. That's some Braveheart shit right there, carrying the name.
It's important, yeah.
I agree. I think so my grandmother, my last grandmother, died last Tuesday. So I'm going to Miami tomorrow, help my parents, send her off, all that. She was an artist, unbelievable, 96. Her mother lived to be 102.
And COVID didn't get her either.
It didn't.
Wow.
No, she got pretty sick one time, and then ended up having an esophageal type thing. Ended up just finally taking her out at the end, but lived an awesome life.
Heck yeah! If you made it to 96, you've lived it to the fullest.
Well, I almost cracked up like that last week. I was I was pulling nut hairs out to keep from breaking up. Actually, you might know Josh Littauer. He goes to Elevate too. That's what I had on last week.
Name's familiar.
He was a big CrossFit guy. Now he's a financial planner. But you know, everyone says it's all about family, right? That's a pretty common trending thing for a lot of, which I agree. I like that. But I think that it's about it is about family, but it's about like helping your family, leading your family to like the next level. Yeah. Like, hey, this is where we are, maybe economically or spiritually or with our faith or with our physicality, and we can be better. We can all be better. Yeah. And I'm not just gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you. Yeah. Because telling, that's what everybody does, man. They'll all get up there and tell, and man, they sound awesome, and they make YouTube clips out of that shit and put a nice music bass under it, and that's great.
It's easy
Telling's
to talk
great. Showing is special, man.
Yeah, it's a real leader.
And winners show.
For sure.
You know?
Real leaders show, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the best way to lead, I mean, that's how I've been in every business or anything that I've ever done where I've been in a management position. Like, the only way to do it is the show. I mean, you can tell someone to do it 100 times, but if you're out there, outwork me. Like, do more than I'm doing. I'm going to show you what to do. I'm going to be in the trenches with you. And I think that's super, super important because you can talk a big game, but if you're not doing it, then people aren't going to buy what you're selling.
No, they're not. So, everybody can talk a big game. Yeah, a lot of people do. Are you easy to outwork? Or are you usually the hardest working guy in the gym or in the boardroom?
When I'm locked in on something, I'm pretty hard to outwork. I won't stop.
You got that microdose in you, and you're just
well. That doesn't. I mean, I don't even need that. I don't know. I'm highly competitive, and I'm highly driven when I'm locked in. I mean, I can be, when I'm not locked in, that's a different story. But yeah, when it's time for this or that, like, and I have a purpose and I have a kind of direction that I want to go, it's tough to outwork me.
That's badass. If a young entrepreneur reached out to you, is like, man, I see what you're involved in. I see everything that you're a part of. What would be like just a little grab bag of advice that you'd give him? Just like 5 minutes of, bro, you got to do this, this, and this. And if you don't, it's not going to work. Or at least I've found that this, and this work the best, or have worked the best for me.
Yeah, well, I'd find out first kind of what you're passionate about, what you want to do. Because, I mean, if you're not passionate about it, you don't love what you're getting into, like, it's only going to carry you so far. So if you don't have that pushing you every step of the way, I think it's important to be involved in something that you're actually going to, like, enjoy doing. That's your life. Like, you're going to be spending most of your time doing this. It better be something that you choose for yourself. Find out someone that's doing what you want to do and go learn from them. Go study them. Someone that's doing it well. I mean, no reason, like I said, to reinvent the wheel. Someone's doing it and doing it well. And if you got to go pay them, if you got to go take a class from somebody that's in that field, go do it.
Go buy them $1,000 coffee.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever it takes. Like, that's probably your best learning lesson right there. And then I would also kind of set what is it that what's the lifestyle that this just got coached to me this week, actually. Andrew Banner, thanks, buddy. Setting up what's the lifestyle you want to live? Like what does that involve? What does that cost? How much money do you want to put into this, that, or the other, and set like a clear plan, and then you can realize what you need to make to fill that up, or how hard you need to be working to achieve this or whatever. But without that plan in place, you could just work yourself into the ground, and for what? To like accumulate all this money, but if you're not living your life and kind of setting it up to live the life you want to live, like you got to have those things in order. You need to have some sort of plan. If you're just kind of willy-nilly, like I'm just going to work and stack all this money or whatever it is, you might not be enjoying the life like you should. And then you're going to get to 60, 70, 80 and be like, got all this money, but I haven't lived life. Like my idea of retirement was traveling. I could have been traveling the whole time. Like I could have been doing that if I had just, realized I need to spend X amount of hours a week to make this. Then I have the rest of the hours in the week to live the life. I don't need to keep running into the ground to achieve this extra money every month that I'm not even going to have time to spend, or whatever. So kind of develop that outline, go learn from the people that you want in the space that you want to be in, and then find something you're passionate about.
Has fatherhood made you a better businessman?
I mean, I'm much more conservative in my spending. I say it definitely has dialed me in there.
That college fund is looming, bro.
Yeah.
It's looming.
Yeah, well, college is a whole nother conversation. Like, is it worth it? Like,
it's not.
I don't know.
It's not. I think you and I are on the same page there.
Everyone's got to hustle.
Yeah, they do.
But
let's not teach you about money in high school, so you'll go to college and still not know about it. So you'll go get a job where you get 2 weeks a year off.
You'll find out real quick what that is.
Yeah, and then you can pay off your house in 30 years and end up paying for it 4 or 5 times because you don't know how the fuck money works.
Right around the time you pay off all those student loans you've accumulated. Anyways,
it's weird how that works out.
That's a whole other deal. But yeah, it's definitely made me more fiscally responsible, but also just more motivated to build something to legacy, for her, for opportunity for her, whatever.
Carrying on that name. What projects are you involved in right now that you're most excited about?
I mean, anything in the health and wellness space where it's helping people, because especially the depression side for me has been something that's kind of hit home a lot recently with talking about people, and I see that it's actually helping people when I talk about it. So kind of the preventative medicine, we're going to kind of get into the HRT and kind of the personalized wellness, like finding out what's wrong with people by looking at their blood work and kind of doing a deep dive. Hey, you should be.
What's HRT?
Hormone replacement therapy. So for me, I had no testosterone forever. And
what did that do to you, to your outlook, to everything when you figured that level was really low and you got that squared up?
Game changer.
Night and
wild.
day.
Your energy, your mood, your
How long
drive.
ago was that for you?
A year. Well, no, I mean, I knew my testosterone was low for a while. I just didn't do. It wasn't as accessible or as regulated and as much of a business as it is now. So, I mean, everything was kind of sketchy before, and I just, I was like, all right, I'll deal with it on my own.
Sure.
Typical man.
Right.
Like, I'll figure it out, and then I've tried every natural supplement there is, and then finally started going through a regimen and dosing it myself, and it's unbelievable. Be able to control your mood, get out of your depression. It's night and day what it's done.
Yeah, that was the thing I noticed right off the bat when I started down that road. Yeah.
It's
the first thing that happened. It wasn't things weren't better in the gym first, or it was all, I just felt mentally like, oh, fucking bring it the fuck on. Instead of just
when's it come
again?
Yeah, when's that wave, that dark cloud coming in?
Yeah, rolling in.
No, you're like, I got it. When you're on that, it's
interesting.
Everything's rolling as it should.
Your body's working correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do intentional brain work too.
We do, kind of right over in this area. I was driving down 75, and we go to it's called Brain Code, and it is wild. So I'm a very chill person when you do a brain analysis.
Okay.
My low beta is not high enough, I think is what they say. You want your low beta higher, which beta is just like a bad word in the media. Like, oh, you're a beta.
Right,
well,
right.
Yeah, you want your low beta high? I'm confused. But
beta
anyway,
gamma.
Brain terms are totally different.
Yes, they are.
But so they can literally look at your brain and map you out and tell you just by looking at your brain like exactly what you are. And I was like, oh my God, they nailed it for both me and Paige. And they're like, she's high strung, you're too low. You guys need to like meet in the middle, basically.
Interesting.
And so you go in there, and for about 30-minute session, they hook you up, and you watch. Most of the time, you can watch whatever you want. And there's just signals that they've got hooked up through their computer or their screen that you're watching.
And they're just measuring electromagnetic waves in your brain?
Yeah, it's the waves, and then they start basically training your brain through like, okay, if that's where we want you to be, there's a positive response that you see somehow on the screen or here. And if not, if you start getting into those ranges that we don't want you get like negative responses.
Well, like a shock collar or something?
not that aggressive, but in theory, yes. So the screen will like get smaller, or it'll get like hazier, or you'll start hitting like ticking noises or something like that. But it's
something slightly unpleasant.
Something that works per that wave, I guess. I don't know exactly how it
Interesting.
works. But yeah, so we do that like twice a week.
That's awesome.
They're awesome. But yeah, so.
And you said you guys have a cryo company. Are you familiar with, and have you used Hyperbaric very much?
We're adding that to our services right
Cool.
now. I don't know much about it. I'm eager to learn.
I'm getting one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're
So
supposed to sleep in it, though.
thanks to this buddy right here, this brain's like 92 years old.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me either. So in the winter of 2019, I went to the Amen Clinic in Chicago, and they hook you up to all kinds of stuff. They put solution in you. They do a resting test, and then you come back like 36 hours later and they do an active test. So I was up there for like 4 days, and they were like, oh yeah, bro, like the entire back of your brain is just totally turned off.
What?
You're running completely off frontal. Yeah, it's fucking next level wild.
Dang.
They lay these diagrams down, these photos. Yeah.
And so what, Hyperbaric is the answer to your problem?
So a lot, yeah. Not all of them, unfortunately. Yeah. The getting the HRT squared away was a big help. Doing some other things nutritionally that are a little different, like mixing in quite a few more of the good oils, olive oil, avocado oil, things like that.
Antioxidants probably too. I don't know.
And trying to get the gut to send a better signal to the brain, because a lot of times we don't realize that we're in a haze or we're depressed because we have a gut issue. It's a gut issue. That microbiome is not, it's just not sending those positive messages to your brain. It starts with that. So when I kind of started to turn that around, things started to improve. But yeah, the Hyperbaric, they want you in there, 90 times in like 90 days with an oxygen concentrator.
How long?
30 minutes.
Oh, so it's not bad.
No, so I'm thinking I just
bring the service in.
Dip into that thing and chill and listen to. Well, I know Gronk has. I know Jordan did. I know Allen Iverson has. T.O. would do that pretty often.
I know a lot of people that do it. They sleep in it though. I thought it was something.
Like, how do you?
It's like an 8-hour deal that you had to be in there, but
this
it's only
one,
30 minutes. It's great.
Yeah,
and that's probably.
And I think the session lengths all depend on whatever it is that you need. But so like at your business, you could go do Hyperbaric and then get right out of that and jump into a cryo.
Then a cryo. You can get an IV.
What is Hyperbaric? Can you explain it?
I can't.
You can't?
No, I can't.
It's just a concentration of oxygen. Your entire body is in a concentrated oxygen tank is how I understand it. I'm not a scientist.
You're just basically absorbing pure oxygen.
Pretty much.
In a small space.
Yeah. And so what you're trying to do is oxygenate your blood to a level that it's healing. So these athletes we've all talked about, they're in there because didn't T.O. tear his thumb up really bad, and that's why he was. Remember that back when he was with the Eagles?
Him, like
I'm sleeping
by
in Hyperbaric every night. So if you have an injury and you could oxygenate your blood, and life is in the blood, even the scriptures say that, then it would rush that healing into whatever that injured part was. If your brain is fucked, like mine is, And it's just trying to get that
Get
flow
blood to the brain.
going, get that dead part
Makes sense.
that's turned off, turned back on.
Huh. So you're actually, rather than going and finding some place that you could just sign up for the service, you're just going full balls to the wall.
I'm gonna get
drop in the house.
I am. I'm gonna get some badass miles on that credit card. I can tell you that right fucking now. Yeah. But I have a red light sauna too.
Yeah.
That thing's
You got one of
crazy.
those?
I broke ribs snowboarding in March, and I was like, this is gonna be two months. Learned that from this guy right here. And I was like, man, that's no lifting, no squat, no laughing, nothing. Got back from Colorado, jumped in that thing, 45 minutes. I put that thing on 170, zipped that all the way up.
Yep.
I don't drink any water. I go hardcore. I usually put something on TV I can dial in on.
Yeah.
And it's hard. That last 15 minutes you're going by the minute. It's like you're in jail in there, just like counting down.
After the first 20, 30 minutes, you're like, oh, this is easy. And then it gets to okay, now you're battling something.
This is
it's
work.
Resistance.
It's
Now
work.
the work
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah, this is not recreational anymore. And my rib was fine. I was like, what the hell? This is insane. So whenever I got a bump or a bruise, I'll either go sit in that or take one of those pads and just put it right on whatever's ailing. The red light. Wow. So what's the name of that nationwide company where you've got the cryo, you're gonna have the Hyperbaric. iCryo.
Yeah. So there's one right here on Walnut
Yeah, there
Hill.
sure as hell is.
There's another one up in Frisco that we've got. But yeah, no, all sorts of services in there, and they're adding Hyperbaric.
Are you expanding, or how many locations do you guys have right now?
So we're minority partners in this, but yeah, they're massive. They're starting to patch in with 24-hour fitnesses, and they'll have some locations.
Do you go pretty often?
Oh yeah, I was going. I used to go 28 days a month, but our travel's been a lot, and
mostly for the cryo or for other stuff too.
I do the red light. I do the cryo.
What's the red light do for you?
It's actually a lot with mood too. I do anything to help with my mood.
Do you do red light on your nightstand at night in your bedroom?
What's that? No,
put a red light bulb in there.
Oh really? No.
It's a little like what's that Police song? Turn on the red light.
Oh yeah.
It's a little, you're like, no. So that helps with mood, hardcore. So at night, hardest for me is to dial it down and go to sleep at night.
you gotta turn all the highlight off.
You gotta turn all those screens.
That's why they make
for
all
sure.
the glasses to turn the screens off. Even your screen dims to the red.
If you put a red light bulb in your nightstand, you just get that at Home Depot or off Amazon for nothing, and they last for a couple years. It does make a difference.
There's a life hack right there for you guys.
There's a life hack for you. Absolutely.
Free healthcare right there.
The iCryo things, you guys putting your money where your mouth is, though, right? Like mental and physical health and wellness is your business.
Yeah,
and you guys live that business
for sure. We own a supplement company too. We've got an app that tells you all about diet and.
What's the app called?
5, PHIVE.
Legit.
Right there, yeah.
You're wearing all the stuff today.
Oh yeah, I'm repping, always repping the brand.
I love it.
Always.
Could you tell us a little more about Little Buddy? I have the Instagram up. There's so many cute doggies.
Yeah, so
Sohail loves the dogs. I do too, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm a huge animal lover just in general. I have not put the time, energy, and effort into this that it needs, but when I had my hemp company, I developed this product line initially from having CBD for pets because it helped with seizures, it helped with arthritis, it helped with inflammation in general, which is like the root of all evil in any disease, really. Even allergies are inflammation based, and CBD is like your not cure all, but it's a damn good moderator for getting your body running as it should and fighting inflammation. Anyway, that's a whole another thing to go into. But we started this probably 3 years ago, and we just have not put any energy, effort into promoting it or anything. We have tons of product. We have, cute pictures all over. But I've got some new partners that are coming in on that actually right now, and this'll be it's mainly set up just to fund rescues. It's not.
Really?
It's not even going to be for profit.
Are the dogs that you guys have personally rescue dogs?
Yeah. Well, Stella, our French Bulldog is not, but Bandit, our German Shepherd, our cats are all rescues.
Good for y'all.
Yeah. So I'm a sucker. If there's an animal that needs rescuing, it's probably going to end up at our house.
Why don't you have pics of them on your Instagram? Your German Shepherd and
I don't know.
You should do more. Yeah, you got to do more of the
I
animal
definitely need
pics,
to do
man.
more animal content on there. I'm not a big social media
It's a bitch, isn't it?
It is. It's a whole. I mean,
It's a whole deal.
I watch her do it, and it's just, oh man, it's a full-time headache. But
makes me want to tap out every day, damn near.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, I didn't ever want this kind of following or attention or whatever, but I mean, now that I have it, I guess I kind of have a little bit of a platform to say whatever.
Yeah, and you got good things to say, so you should get out there and say it more, man.
I say them in one realm, but yeah, no, I need to get more of the dog stuff out there because it's not a for-profit company. We're everything goes.
That's amazing.
Little Buddy Rescue or our partners out in Oregon, and it's all to just help animals.
What's your tie to the state of Oregon?
That's where my farm.
Yeah, but was that just where the farm ended up?
Yeah, we got an opportunity brought. It was one of the first ones open in the space, and we've been in it for a while. And
yeah.
I was always a University of Oregon fan, and it was in Eugene.
Come on.
I know.
Come on. Nike you, brother?
Not anymore.
Phil Knight? You don't like him anymore?
I don't mind Phil Knight. I just don't like the corporation that's kind of become...
it's a beautiful state.
It's really beautiful.
We love running game on the Ducks, us Cougars. That's for sure. Yeah. We always give them a run for their fucking money.
Yeah. Well, y'all been good. I mean,
we got Cam Ward from Incarnate Word. He transferred up this year, so we got big hopes, high hopes. Yeah. But there will be no more Pac-12 anymore now that USC and UCLA are leaving. Who knows what's going on?
I think everyone's going to go into these super conferences.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why maybe you've lost interest in college football.
It's a mess.
It's just, and the name, image, likeness. I want all those dudes to make money. Yeah. I played a little on scholarship, and when you can't buy a pizza because you got nothing, it's a son
doesn't
of a
make
gun.
sense. And then university's making all this money off of your name, and you coming and filling the stadium.
It's not fair.
It's not. So
it's big business.
Yeah. But now that's become a whole nother. How do you regulate and control that? But
it's ridiculous.
Another conversation.
Well, that cow's out of the barn too. You got car dealers. Hey, we'll give you $1 million, and you're a freshman. You haven't even thrown one pass.
Yeah, well, I mean,
crazy.
Shit. Tech just paid every one of their players like $25,000. Doesn't matter if you're the last guy. I
saw that. They grow them deep out in West Texas, man. How'd you end up at Tech, real quick?
Oh man, well, all my family went there.
Yeah,
so
I got you.
It's a fun school.
Carry on the name.
But if I had to say, if I just had kept my head down in athletics and stayed in a school where you could have a little more visibility, I probably would have been playing somewhere. But
yeah. Everything happens for a reason.
That's what I knew. That's what I was raised to know, and it was easy, and I got in.
Without no there, there's no here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't make good grades, so my
my
options were limited. I didn't go to enough school to make good grades.
What are we gonna do, man? Good grades were not necessarily my priority either. If people want to reach out to you, how can they get you on social and an email address?
jmoritz24 on Instagram. I mean, message me there. That's the easiest way. I got so many different emails, but you don't want to end up in the email.
Right there's the best way.
I mean, you can email me at, let's see. I'm trying to think of which one I wanted to give out. Jason Moritz Sebastian at gmail.com. Full name.
Awesome.
Carrying on that legacy I was talking about.
There's no 1, 2, 3, 4 or any numbers at the end of that. You're the one and only.
No, that's it.
Brother, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Me,
absolutely. You're a rock star. That was an awesome pod. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Thank you, Jason. Speaking from the heart, some very heartfelt moments there. Sounds like fatherhood is one hell of a ride. Looking forward to possibly taking that ride at some point in my life. Really appreciate Jason's time, his insight, and again, those words from the heart. That was awesome. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope you enjoy all of them. I really enjoy meeting people, turning the phones over, and having a 2-hour conversation about real life, about living a DIY, fearless life. If you can think of somebody, or if you have an idea of somebody that you'd like to see me talk to, drop me a line. You can Instagram, DM me at Jess from the Northwest. You can drop a comment below, and I'd love to know what you think about the podcasts. See y'all next time.